Right, so we're going to look at one of the first things to see that Python hasn't got, and a real big loss in the language in my opinion, and that is what's called a switch statement, sometimes called a switch case. And essentially it's like a multifaceted if. Okay, now I've got to be honest, this would not be the best way to do this, turning an integer into a word of the day or whatever. Clearly we'd use some sort of array, but sometimes that's not possible because of what you're doing, and you maybe want someone to enter in, like you've seen this in exam questions. You know, and sometimes you say it's gold, silver, or bronze membership, and you've got to do if gold, else if silver, else bronze. But wouldn't it be much nicer just to put case gold, case silver, case bronze, and rather than having sort of loads of ifs or elses? So what happens here is how a switch works is you do a switch on a variable, or it can be other things, but just for instance, say a variable. And then you put the options here like this. So you've got case, if it's 1, that's basically like case 1. You can write these on the same line like this. And if I was doing this little amount of response for case 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I would do that. I'm just going to edit this to show you. So there you go. So you run it. It's going to say Thursday because it was 4. If I change that to 2, it's going to do case 2. There's not really a lot to talk about really, just here's what it does. It's quite obvious really, but let's do that option. Let's do one for the gold, silver and bronze. Okay, so let's do that exam question where I was talking about before, like let's get someone to type in gold, silver or bronze. So we'll do console dot write line, enter gold, silver or bronze membership. I'll put G, S or B just to speed it up really. Okay, gold, silver or bronze. I'm just going to do that because it's quicker. And then we'll do string mem type equals console.readline. Okay, so you can, I didn't know if you know, I've shown you this before, but you can define the variable at the same time you create it. So it's not that much annoying compared to Python because you just got to type that before you do the rest of it. Now, just as a little extra being the sort of to try and get in a more professional mindset, we would of course instantly turn this to, I tend to turn it to uppercase, but either way is fine as long as you know. Now all that's going to mean is if they type a lowercase g, then it will be turned into uppercase. So there you go, and that's just useful if there's if they type in lowercase g. So anyway, right, I'm waffling. So switch, you do a switch and you type what you're looking at. We're looking at mem type. Okay, then we do a squiggly bracket and we start. Now we do our cases. So we've got case. Remember we've made it uppercase now, so we do case G. Then we do a colon. Okay, and then we're going to do what it is for case G. So we're going to do console dot write line, and then we'll do gold member, and then we'll do break. Now the reason for break again is you don't have to have break. But what would happen is, although everyone does put break in, just to be clear, otherwise the point is that there's no point carrying on the switch. A switch only has one answer, so there's no break means leave the switch. Break is leave, like we've learnt before from while loops. It means leave the section you're in, leave the squiggly bracket, basically leave this squiggly bracket. There's no point carrying on. Why check G and then B and then S or whatever if it's no way it can be, and it can't be in a switch. So because it's only checking, you can't do like. It's meant for checking for specific things, not for like less than, greater than. So in fact, why am I not copying and pasting this? Which I would turn off the kids for. So I'll do that. In fact, I should have probably just copied and pasted that. Okay, and there's one also great thing about this. So if we do silver and then do bronze, okay, then actually you can have one called default. And what that means is if it didn't do the others, brilliant. And then we can just write something like incorrect or something like that, and then you would carry on and look at that. Much nicer than the if, else, elif, and also don't forget that if, else, elif, else is alright with G, S and B, but what if you've got 7 different options in a menu? Let's say you own a menu and they can write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and based on when they write 1, 2, 5 you do different things. You don't know if it's a 1, if it's a 2, if it's a 3. It's much nicer to do a switch. I often put the break at the end here, but it doesn't really matter. You can do it however you want, and then you go on that and you'll see it does exactly what we want. Go into S, and it will say Silverman. Remember, we enter H, which is going to be do our default, and it will say incorrect. There we go. So you can see how useful a switch is. It doesn't have this in Python. Big loss in my opinion. So there you go. Yeah, that's what a switch is, and yeah, there you go.